Is it better to do faster reps or slower reps for muscle growth? You can usually lift more weight when you execute faster reps. Slower agents, on the other hand, result in considerably longer eccentric contractions, which leads to more muscle loss. So, today, we'll look at what science has to say about which of these tactics is ideal for building muscle and improving overall body composition. Welcome back to another exciting video from Fit Flourish Fever. Today's video is about slow versus fast reps for muscle growth, science-based. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. First, we must consider what is called repetition pace. This is the phrase academics use to define how quickly you do reps for a specific activity, as the name implies. As previously stated, most workouts contain an eccentric and concentric phase. The eccentric phase is the part of the movement during which the target muscle lengthens. When you reduce the weight during a curl, your bicep is in the eccentric phase. The muscle lengthens while remaining taut to keep the weight from falling loose. The concentric phase is the period during which the target muscle shortens. Your bicep is in the concentric phase when you lift the weight during a curl. To counteract gravity, the muscle must shorten with sufficient force. Typically, trainers advise you to slow down and then explode on the way up to maximize muscle growth. Is this, however, correct? Researchers had participants perform 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps to failure in a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, either with a traditional rep tempo of 1 to 2 seconds for each concentric and eccentric contraction, or with a slow 10-second concentric followed by a slow 4-second eccentric contraction. Both groups aimed to advance as quickly as possible regarding the amount of weight they could lift and the amount of muscle they could gain, as evaluated by muscular biopsies, regarded as one of the highest quality measurement methods for this type of test. Researchers discovered that the traditional training group increased the cross-sectional area of their leg muscle fibers by 26% in type 1 slow twitch fibers and 34% in type 2 fibers at the end of the trial. Meanwhile, the slow tempo group increased by only 6% in type 1 and 15% in type 2. Based on those findings, we can conclude that faster reps were better for muscle growth than very slow reps. In other studies, we look at TUT, which stands for time under tension and generally refers to how many seconds it takes from the beginning to the completion of your sets, considering both the concentric and eccentric phases. So, do all of the available studies support merely faster reps? A meta-analysis of 8 distinct research indicated no statistically significant difference between repetition speed and muscle growth. However, when the impact sizes for those studies are examined, they show a trend toward more substantial muscle growth for those who trained at a quicker rep tempo. There's a chance that the study's duration needed to be increased to find a statistically significant difference between the groups. That is why, as other research has shown, this meta-analysis still shows quicker tempos are better for muscle growth. Furthermore, the 8 papers examined in the meta-analysis had numerous limitations. One of them is that the experiments were all conducted on untrained people. You can wonder if incapable people have the necessary exercise technique, coordination, and motivation to create optimal muscle activation when completing a faster workout. That is the primary way a speedier tempo could stimulate muscle growth. So, what makes faster reps better for muscular growth? The first reason is that studies have shown that slowing down your reps limits the weight you can lift. Meanwhile, increasing the speed of your agents can improve the number of reps you can accomplish with a given weight load. Anyone who has ever lifted weights knows that when you slow down your representatives, you usually have to lower the weight or reduce the number of agents you're performing. This means the mechanical tension you can apply to your muscle fibers with slow reps is less than with fast brokers. Not only is this bad for muscle growth, but a meta-analysis published in the Journal of Sports Medicine discovered that it also leads to decreased strength increases. If your strength gains have slowed, you can lift less weight in future sets than if you kept a consistent rep tempo. This limits your ability to build mechanical tension overload, reducing muscle growth. Another advantage of fast reps is that they cause more muscle activation than slow repeats. Your fast twitch fibers will be active throughout the set if you do your reps explosively. Because rapid twitch fibers are connected with observable muscle growth, more explosive agents can give a powerful muscle growing stimulus. If, on the other hand, you choose slow reps, your fast twitch fibers will only be recruited once the slow twitch fibers can no longer create adequate force output to raise the resistance. Slower reps will, therefore, provide less muscle building stimulation to your quick twitch fibers. So, isn't there scientific evidence that slow, eccentric contractions are better for muscle growth? Some studies show that slow eccentrics produce more muscle growth than faster eccentrics, which is why many people believe that slowly lowering the weight leads to more muscle growth, which is only sometimes the case, according to the meta-analysis we just discussed. The problem is that in much of the research that supports slower contractions on the way down, the eccentric phase of a contraction is analyzed separately from the opposing concentric contraction. Furthermore, practically every study that suggests that slow eccentrics are superior employs some eccentric overloading. Slower eccentric contractions, however, will not necessarily help you create more muscle because most of us do not have access to this equipment and instead rely on barbells, dumbbells, cables, and machines that all keep a consistent degree of tension, whether raising or reducing the weight load. You may overload the eccentric contraction and benefit from slower reps in various ways. Negatives on the bench press are a simple example. You would use a hefty weight here, with a companion spotting you, and gently drop the weight near your chest. When you reach your chest, your partner should raise the importance of you as you press it up. This causes eccentric overload since you're lowering the entire weight to your wardrobe but only lifting a portion back up because your partner is assisting you. Going slower on the way down can pay dividends in this circumstance. The 2-to-1 approach is another strategy to take advantage of slower reps. With this approach, you will complete the lifting phase of an exercise with 2 limbs while slowly lowering with only 1 limb. This will, once again, result in a significant eccentric overload. Leg extensions are an excellent example of this. The weight may be lifted with 2 legs, but lowered with only 1. You can use numerous machines to apply the same procedure as long as the right and left sides are coupled to a single weight load. Another way to create eccentric overload to take advantage of slow reps is to cheat during the concentric contraction. Assume you're doing an overhead press to train your shoulders. You might begin the activity by driving the weight up with your legs, known as a push press. Alternate between a dumbbell press on the way up and a fly on the way down with the same weight load for your chest. Remember that if you're a novice, I don't advocate focusing on eccentric overload because most beginners need more motor control to use this approach appropriately. Furthermore, you won't require these tactics if you're a beginner because regular exercise would be enough. Slower reps may aid you in improving muscle growth by overdoing the eccentric section if you're advanced. That being said, even skilled users should avoid going excessive. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.